Hello, everybody. This is Kyrix with another episode of This Week in Kyrix. This is for the week of Wednesday, September 26th of 2018, and it's being recorded on Tuesday, October 2nd of 2018, because I'm a lazy, procrastinating piece of shit. You will immediately notice that there is, in fact, no video game accompanying this, because, again, lazy, procrastinating piece of shit. Plus, there's the fact that I put this off for so goddamn long that tomorrow is the next This Week in Kyrix. So, we're going to do something a little different this time around. I'm not going to go too much into detail on what I've done. I'm just going to give some of the highlights, and I'll probably go into great detail later. That being tomorrow's video, which will probably be recorded on Friday. Because, again, lazy, procrastinating sack of shit. I finally broke the news to the Pokemon players of exactly what the tournament entailed. And I don't honestly remember if I've told anyone here what it entailed, so I'm gonna do that right now. The tournament is 6 Pokemon that have been chosen over the previous weeks, which will sorry about that, be raised up to level 50 in 5 of their cases, 55 in one case, because that's what it involves. I've already raised the Pokemon. I've also already put my own team of it together. I have all but one of the Pokemon prizes, which honestly won't take me any time at all. I can literally just catch one on Pokemon Blue and send it over. That being the Pikachu. And the tournament will involve the following Pokemon: Electros, Haxorus, Goodra, Tyranitar, Aurorus, and Octillery. And basically I'm going to be giving out up to, that is the key word, up to 8 identical teams of this to the first 8 participants, who will then use these Pokemon to battle it out and see who's the best. Because, let's face facts, any decent trainer can win a match with their own Pokemon. It takes a good trainer to win a match with someone else's Pokemon, especially when everyone else is using those same Pokemon. Now, as these were raised, and believe me, I put the miles in to prove it, as these are raised, they are not completely identical. Some of them are 6 IVs, but most are 5s, so the relevant stat, like in Tyranitar's case, the relevant stat is special attack, that is ignored, will vary from Tyranitar to Tyranitar. That doesn't matter. None of its attacks currently use its special attack. In the case of things like Goodra, it's the physical attack that is varying, but none of the Goodras have a physical attack move, and none of the 6 Pokemon have the move Foul Play, which uses your opponent's attack stat. So again, identical. And of course, these Pokemon are for the participants to keep. The rule is you can't really do anything with them until after the tournament, at which point, if they want me to, I'll stick around and rename them. I will, I won't do anything after that point. They can get them to level 100. They can bottle cap that final stat, unless they happen to get one of the 6 IVs. They can trade it, they can release it, they can keep it. I don't give a shit what they do. At that point, it's theirs. And the whole reason for this tournament, and everyone who's heard about it is really kind of intrigued with it, and it's a good idea. The thing was, I thought to myself, am I winning all these matches because I'm that good, or because my Pokemon are? And on the one hand, there really is the mindset that my Pokemon are just that good, because I train them up, I bottle cap them, I breed them. You know, I do all that shit. I research certain things. Some of the builds are mine. A lot of them are taken from offline. You know, I've learned tricks and synergies with some of them, and it just kind of goes that way. And on the other hand, one of my opponents in particular does not bottle cap her Pokemon, and she holds her own against me. And then again, some of the kids there have thrown out some legendaries that aren't hacked, and given me a run for my money. So it just begged the question, if all things were equal, would I do as well? And that's what this tournament is to find out. Now, I will be participating with my own set of the 6, because I had most of these Pokemon. I had all of them except for Aurorus, Electros, and Octillery, and in the matter of breeding Dynamo, Remoraid, and Amara, I got, more than I needed. Like, I got a couple 6 IVs that I kept, and sometimes I got extra 6 IVs and, passed those on. So I figured, fuck it, I may as well breed the 3, or not breed, but train the 3 I'm missing alongside theirs. Because I had to train them in 2 groups of 4 anyway. It did nothing to, took nothing away to add my 5th one on and just do that. So my Pokemon were raised right alongside theirs, and that was kind of cool. And I've told them, because a couple of the kids had the reaction, the younger kids, by the way, the ones with no self-esteem, had the reaction of, what's the point? You're just going to win. I'm like, well, I don't count. Because I mentioned the huge prize, and they're of the mindset of, why would you give that away? Because it literally takes nothing to breed, hidden ability starters, if I have them already. It's literally just, like, pop out 5 or 6 eggs, or 4 or 5 eggs, rather, hatch them, and if one of them has the hidden ability, there it is. Half the time I would hatch, like, 2 eggs, just to be sure, because sometimes it doesn't breed the hidden. And they don't seem to realize I have all of these Pokemon already. And these aren't... Sorry about the yawn. These aren't exactly battle-ready, or at least not by my standards. A lot of them are 5 IVs, and some of them have their ideal natures. But for the most part, it's just, hey, here's a Pokemon with its hidden ability, and some of them don't care. They're just gonna, oh, wow, I have Intimidate Litten. I'm gonna raise this to be Intimidate Incineroar and think nothing of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, yeah. But I have my team because I'm curious how I'll stack up, and I've said, here's how this works. Points earned against me, wins earned against me, count for the tournament. So if one person has 6 wins, 2 losses, and beats me, they'll tie with someone with 7 wins and 1 loss who didn't beat me, And meanwhile, any losses to me don't count. So, for example, if I happen to go 7-1, 7-1, and everyone else is like 6-2, then I don't win, Well, everyone else can't be 6-2, but let's say the next highest person is 6-2. I don't beat the 6-2. The 6-2 wins, and all the 5 3s and less just pull second, So that's what I've been up to. And also I've been raising some of my other Pokemon. A fun side effect of breeding the Auroruses is I got a shiny Amara. And he's adorable. He's just this cute little white sauropod, and I kept him in Amara because he is cuter than an Aurorus would be. So he is now level 100, and he is sitting in my box, and he's ready to fight Little Cup later this afternoon. Because why not? Aside from that, I'm going to go over 2 movies I saw recently. One is something of a movie review, and the other one's a movie endorsement. Now, the quote-unquote review is for a movie called Hellfest. It was a slasher movie that I may have talked about before. Let's be honest, I don't remember from one week to another what I say. So there is a lot of repetition in here, but no one watches this. But anyway, sorry about the yawning. It's 3:19 in the morning, and I haven't really slept. Well, it's not so much that I haven't slept, it's that I haven't really eaten. Because I'm down to a box of ramen. I have 10 packets of ramen, and I tend to eat them 2 to 4 at a time. And that's all I have until Wednesday, where I'm hopefully going to mooch food while I'm in Largo taking care of the pets, because they have a vet appointment. But I'm going to hopefully booch food so I don't have to spend any of my money. And then Thursday, stamps come in and I can buy groceries again. But let's talk Hellfest. Hellfest is... I'm not a horror guy. I enjoy a lot of horror movies. I enjoyed a lot of slasher movies, but I'm not a horror guy. I'm a sci-fi guy, I'm a fantasy guy, I'm an animation guy, etc. But the premise of Hellfest just had me sold. The premise is, imagine Halloween Horror Nights if a slasher got loose. Basically, they're these college kids, I'm going to guess. And they go to this big horror festival called Hellfest. And it's a bunch of horror mazes, which I didn't know that was a thing. You know, I mean, I've seen like, on Halloween, they might have like a corn maze or something, but I didn't know horror mazes were a thing. And it sounds, if I were the kind of person who liked being scared, it sounds like something I'd enjoy just, to travel through a maze in general. But, the whole lot of them gets together, they do this horror maze thing. And I'm going to say this now, there are spoilers for this movie, because I'm going to talk shit that you will not, that will, spoil how things go. And there's 3 guys, 3 girls, they're 3 couples. Two of the couples look to be established couples, 2 of them or the remaining 2 people look to be, they've got a crush on each other, and they're both beautifully awkward. I actually kind of liked all the characters. There was the white final girl, there was the black best friend, and there was the spunky, I want to say teenage, but I think she's the same age, but she looked younger than them. She just felt younger. And her boyfriend was this Asian guy. He didn't get a whole lot of development. The black girl's boyfriend, not much, but it's the white girl's boyfriend who got all the development, and he was the first one to go. But they were a lot of fun for me, But then again, I don't look for deep Shakespearean characters in every fucking movie I see. I went to a fucking slasher movie called Hellfest. I'm not expecting Academy Award-winning performances. I just want characters that are like, oh, I'd hang out with this person. That's all I'm looking for. And that's what I got. I got people that I could conceivably hang out with. Anyway, the killer arrives pretty early on, and he, for whatever reason, attaches himself. He just zeroes in on the white girl, the white final girl, and decides, yup, you're the one. And he proceeds to creepily stalk her throughout the entire fucking movie. And every now and then he'll run into one of her friends and he'll kill them. Oddly enough, nobody else, just her friends. And I don't know if it's because it's her friends, or if it's because they're the only ones who ended up alone with him, or what. And I say this because he speaks like one sentence the entire fucking movie, and it's at the very end, to his daughter. So you have no fucking clue who this guy is, why he's there, why he's doing it. Well, you know why he's there. He's there to fucking kill people, but you don't know why. You don't know what his motivations are. You don't know any of that. Normally, I'm not that guy. But fucking give me something. Freddy Krueger was a deranged serial killer ghost. He was possessed. He became a fucking demon and haunted children in their nightmares to get back at the parents who murdered him. Jason Voorhees was a fucking... Well, let's not mince words. A retarded kid who drowned because 2 counselors were too busy fucking to save him. And his mother, before that, murdered them for that very reason. It's not rocket science, but you had something to go on. And you see him kill another girl, and is it that he's got a thing for women? Did he kill her boyfriend because he was there, or because it was her boyfriend, It was an interesting movie. I did enjoy it. Don't think I was bored just from the damning by faint praise that it's gonna get. I did enjoy the movie. I had a lot of fun. If I'm at someone's house, they're like, hey, you want to watch Hellfest? Sure, I'll watch Hellfest. But I'm not going to rent it myself, at least not for a couple more years. I'm not going to blow another ticket on it. And, yeah, it's... If I see it again with a person, that's cool. I mean, hell, if a friend wants to go, like, if my best friend's like, hey, that Hellfest movie, you want to go to AMC and see it? You know, you use your ticket, I'll buy mine, you know, that kind of thing. Which won't happen, he doesn't do theaters, but if it did, yeah, I'd go along with him. It'd be cool. I did enjoy the movie, but I don't know if my mild enjoyment of it was because it wasn't a good slasher movie, or because I'm not a slasher movie guy. Like, my two favorite horror movies that I can pull off the top of my head, or let's face it, my favorite horror movie, no, it is two. My two favorite horror movie franchises are Final Destination, which is literally just death itself stalking these people. It's a force of nature. And Jeepers Creepers, which is a supernatural slasher beast. So that's the kind of horror I do, for the most part. You know, I like my horror to be very supernatural, and this was a guy with a knife and a mask running around on Halloween Horror Nights. Which is kind of funny because I'm actually thinking of seeing the new Halloween movie. I've always been real pissy about the Halloween movies because it's just, to me, it's a guy in a mask running around with a knife stabbing people kind of thing. That's just a guy. That's just a serial killer. That's not a slasher movie, but fuck, if I sat through Hellfest, why not Halloween? For all I know, I'm missing an untapped gem here that I've just made fun of for years, you know? That's the beautiful thing about the A-list program that I'm on. It makes me see movies I would never fucking see. In November, I'm gonna see Bohemian Rhapsody because it's free. I saw Hellfest because it's free. The movie intrigued me, but not enough to spend money on, you know? I might see Halloween because it's free. And I saw the next movie I'm going to talk about in a minute because it's free. But I'll get into that in a minute. Hellfest, however, has a little story attached to it. Now, everyone who knows me, you know, in the past couple weeks knows I have a system. I get 3 tickets a week. 1 ticket is always reserved for Thursday night. Period. Because Thursday night is when the new releases kick in. They say, oh, in theaters Friday, but it's really Thursday. They don't announce that, and I don't know why. I guess Friday's just a more marketable day. But the last showing of a theater on Thursday night is the first showing of the Friday release. So I went and saw, things like Jurassic Park. No, not Jurassic Park. Fuck it, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm sitting here trying to remember from memory. I've got a fucking list in my phone that I can pull from of movies that I saw on opening night. I saw The Predator on opening night, for example. I saw House of the Clock in its Walls on opening night. Let's see. Past events. I saw Happy Time on opening night, I want to say. I definitely saw Peppermint on opening night, and I saw The Meg on opening night. I think. Yeah, I saw a lot of movies on opening night. And I was going to see Hellfest on opening night. Keyword going to. So here's what happened. I use the phone app because I can just forego the whole... Because when I get to the theater, I have to show them my ticket thing anyway, my AMC Stubs card, which is in my phone. And I found out the first time I used A-List that because I buy my tickets online, I can just skip the line. If they have a ticket taker, and anyone who's been to a theater knows they don't always, I just walk up to them, show them my phone and my ID, they scan it, they look at it, they send me through. Sometimes I go to the box office and I just kind of skirt the line, I pull up alongside, show them the thing, they scan it, good. Sometimes it's the concession stand, but again, show them the phone, scan it, good. And I use the app, and a lot of times I try and get the Thursday locked in as soon as possible. Well, this time I did that with Hellfest, and the showings are pretty much always 7 or 8 o'clock. I've seen one case where it was 8 o'clock, ironically, Hellfest. We'll get into that in a minute. But it's been a pretty safe bet that 7 o'clock is my showtime. So anyway, I go in there, and I go in the app, I reserve it, etc. Thursday rolls around, 6 o'clock rolls around, oh, 5:30 rolls around. I walk down to the bus stop, I get on the bus. I'm at the last bus stop for the theater. I get off the bus. I look at my app to get it ready and find out my ticket is for midnight. Okay, that's fucking weird. I'm thinking maybe it's because it's a horror movie. I have been to theaters where midnights were showtime. Not my AMC, however. And that's going to come into play in a minute. So I immediately walk to where the 9 goes, get on the 9, go back home. Wasted trip. Doesn't matter. I have one of those unlimited 31-day bus passes. It's all good. All I've lost is time. So, Hellfest rolls around. 12 o'clock rolls around. There's no bus. And I don't want to walk, and my bike's on the fritz. So what I do is I pump up my front tire, which has a leak in it, strap the pump to the bike, and quickly ride down to the theater. Lock up my bike. Oh no, the theater is closed. Well, that's okay. Maybe at midnight they'll roll around and let me in. So I sit. And it didn't occur to me until about midnight that even if the showing is at midnight, there should be someone around 11:50 to let me in so that I have time to get popcorn and soda before my movie. Long story short, the theater doesn't open. Around 12:01, I get up, get on my bike, check the tire, ride home, yada yada. This leads into the following day, which is Friday, so I've got new tickets. So, Friday. Yeah, that's fun. I decide that I am going to get on the bus and go down to the theater early on. But first, actually, let's roll this back to Thursday afternoon, because I had a little bit of a setup going into Thursday. My roommate basically offered to buy me a pizza if I would go to 7-Eleven and get him these vouchers for the baseball game. 7-Eleven has these little coupons. You take it to the ticket booth, and they give you up to 4 tickets for $7.11. Neat little idea. Wednesday night, I ride my bike down to the local 7-Eleven. They're out of tickets. He tells me the truck will have them in Thursday night. I don't want to wait. So Thursday afternoon, I get on the 16 to ride to the next closest 7-Eleven. I walk in there, ask for 2 tickets. Sorry, I can only give you 1. He hands me 1. Well, my bus isn't due for like 45 minutes because it runs hourly, apparently. So, you know what? I decide I'm going to stand outside and wait for someone to pull up and ask them if they will get me a ticket. This car pulls up. So I move up to the store to wait for the guy to get out of his car. And he sits there for, I swear to God, 15 minutes in his car. And he gets out, and I'm just so happy to see a person that I don't look, and I ask him if he can get me the ticket, etc., that I notice he's in a 7-Eleven uniform, so now the jig is up. He'll tell his buddy, hey, this guy asked for a ticket, etc., so I decide to walk to the next closest 7-Eleven, because the bus will take too goddamn long. So I walk for half an hour, and I want to point out, this is Florida, and we're out of the heat wave, but it's still like 85, 90 degrees. Fortunately, most of the walk is in the shade. Also, because it's the end of the month, I'm low on food. I haven't eaten or drank anything. That'll be important in a couple minutes. So I finally get to the 7-Eleven, and I'm pissed, and I'm going to be more pissed in a minute, because I asked the guy for tickets. And he says, how many do you want? And you probably think, well, Kyrix, that's pretty innocuous. Yeah, but here's the kicker. If I had gone there instead of the other one, I'd have had my tickets and I'd have fucking left. So I get the 1 ticket, because that's all I need. And I begin walking to the next bus stop, because it's almost time. And I'm thinking to myself, the box office closes at 5, and it's like 3:45. And by the time I get to this bus, basically, I can get home by about 4:45, 4:50. Normally, this wouldn't be a problem. I don't live that far from Tropicana Field. But again, bike tire is flat and requires to be pumped up. So that takes me about a minute to rig all that up and then get it out the door. Then I have to ride really quickly to get to the thing and then get my tickets and be done. Well, here's the kicker. When I get near the bus stop, I can see the 20 pulling up. So I run to the next bus stop. Now, it is Florida. It is hot out. I have not eaten. I have not drank. I am damn near dead by the time I reach that bus stop. I am out of breath. I am exhausted. Every part of my body hurts, and I feel like I'm going to throw up and pass out. And I don't know in what order. I could very well pass out in my own vomit or pass out and then vomit. And I feel like that is going to happen in any time, in any order. Fortunately, that doesn't happen. I get off the bus. I go home. I have 11 minutes. But I'm fucking wiped from that run. If I'd gotten to the bus on time, I'd have had the energy. But I didn't. Or at least I didn't get to that stop on time. So anyway, that means that Friday I have to do this. And I was going to take the bus, but it was a thing. So Friday morning rolls around. Again, had that hellish day Thursday, plus Hellfest didn't happen for me. So I walk up to the theater. Ticket says the theater or not the theater, the Tropicana Field says the ticket booth opens up at 9. So I set a thing for 8:30 to wake me up. But again, I just rode my bike home at midnight. I didn't have any sleep. Because it takes me about 4 hours to get to sleep generally. I'm one of those people. So I basically gave myself till about 9:30 or so, thinking, fuck it, I'll lose a half an hour or something, you know. And I sleep in a bit. I wake up. I start walking. It's an uneventful walk, you know. It's only like 9:30, so the sun's not really out and about. Not in the ferocious way that the Florida sun gets. I get to the ticket booth, and it's closed. Turns out the fucking thing opens at 10, but because I slept in, I've only got like a 5-10 minute wait. So I do that. Fortunately, the lady's cool. She tells me she's really only supposed to give me 4 tickets, and I'm only supposed to have 1 coupon per person, but she'll just ring me up twice, and she did. And that was cool. Got the tickets. And it turns out there was a bus that would basically drop me off right by my house. And it was about to leave, but not in a way that I had to run. Basically, it was about to leave, and I could leisurely walk there just in time for it to get there. So I get to the bus stop, and I see the bus pull up at what I think is the street, because I'm not familiar with that part of the area. Turns out it's at a bus rest station. And I don't figure that out until I've already been waiting for 5 minutes, and by then I'm thinking, by the time I start walking, it's going to start moving, I'm going to miss the damn thing. So basically, I stand there waiting 10, 15 minutes for this damn bus to come to me, get on the bus, get home, uneventful. I decide that I was going to catch, like, the 3 o'clock showing for Hellfest. Or no, the 2 o'clock showing. So normally the 20 takes me there, and the 20 will get me there within minutes of the show starting, but I'm thinking, no, I've got to tell them about this malfunction on the app, where it sold me a ticket that didn't exist. So this could take a while, because I don't know how reasonable they're going to be. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get to a manager, and even if they're completely reasonable, I don't know how long it'll take them to hash this out. So I want a buffer. So I decide I'm going to hop on the 16, because that'll take me there. And my phone says, oh, you better hurry, but you can catch the 16. I get to the 16 stop, look at my phone, oh, the next one will arrive in a half an hour. But you can catch the 9, literally 7 streets away. So I start walking, and I get to fucking 8th Street, and it's like, or I get to 10th Street, and it's like, oh, you missed the 9. So I'm starting to get pissed, because I just had Thursday behind me. So I walk up to this convenience store and think, okay, fuck it, I'll bite the bullet, get the 20. But I'm thirsty. I thought to bring my debit card. I'm going to get a drink at this convenience store. I don't see anything decent, you know. So I grab an orange juice, a little fucking mini 8-ounce goddamn orange juice that is literally a shot. And I walk up there, because I don't see a price on the fucking thing, and all I want to do is check the price. And he immediately rings it up. Oh, it's this much. I pull out my debit card. Oh, there's a $5 minimum purchase, so you're going to be charged 50 cents. And I'm thinking, God damn it, you already want to watch me. You already want to charge me $2 for this thing that I'm going to drink in one gulp. Fuck it, I'm going somewhere else. So I walk down the street a little further. Across the street from the 20's next bus stop is Walgreens, and I walk in there. And they also have orange juice, but it's 2 for $3. So I'm still paying close to what I would have paid, but I'm getting 2 for it. And I figure, fuck it, I'm going to get these 2. So I do. And when I keep saying they're like a shot, I mean that literally. I put it to my lips, threw my head back, and when it came back down, empty. And then I opened the other one, did the same fucking thing. I got 2 drinks out of this thing. And it cost me $3. Doesn't sound like much until you realize that I had $10 to my fucking name. Well, I had 11. So I'm waiting on the 20, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I just say, you know what? Fuck it. This trip is cursed. I'm going to go home and catch the next one in an hour. And while that will give me an hour to the next showing, because the next Hellfest showing was at 4, and the next bus would be at 3, that'll give me all the buffer I need. So I get on the bus to take me there, and I get there about 3 o'clock. And I go up to the ticket booth and ask the lady, is there a manager I can talk to? She's like, well, what's the problem? I'm not a manager, but maybe I can help. And I point out, I got sold a ticket for showing that didn't exist. And she called over the manager, and they're like, yeah, this is weird. And without any real prompting, he said, okay, how about I get you in the 4 o'clock showing, and I'll give you a popcorn and a soda. I'm like, okay, cool. Free popcorn, free soda. And I told him I didn't want to push my luck, but I'm on A-list. Is there any way I could upgrade this to D-Box? He's like, oh, yeah, sure. Which one you want? You know. And he asked, you want your concession stuff now? Are you going to wait? I'm like, no, I'll wait. And I waited until about 10 minutes for the movie and got my popcorn, got my drink. It was pretty good. It was real good service. I didn't have to fight with them. I didn't have to suggest anything. I just told them, here's the problem. Oh, okay. For your inconvenience, free stuff. That's generally how these things work, and it was really good service. So I continued to be impressed with my AMC. I actually have a problem with the last thing, but that's okay. So this movie that I keep going on and on about is called Smallfoot. It is a movie about Yetis, one in particular who discovers a human, a Smallfoot, and just basically freaks out the tribe. I have seen the trailer for this dozens of times, it seems like. It's probably been like 4 or 5. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, this is so fucking stupid. I don't want to see this. This movie looks goddamn dumb. And then, I don't want to say it was for Hellfest, but I think it was like the movie I saw before that, which was probably the Happy Time Murders. Or something like that. No, it was Princess and the Frog. I went and saw Princess and the Frog in theaters, and I saw the trailer, the second trailer for Smallfoot. It had some new stuff in it. And the new stuff was just intriguing enough that I'm thinking, you know what, I'll give this movie a shot. So I come home from that movie, and I see Hellfest, and I decide, you know what, I'll look up a review or 2 on Smallfoot. And I click the first review, and I'm thinking, it's by a guy named Doug, and I'm thinking, oh, why does that name sound familiar? I see the guy, it's the fucking Nostalgia Critic. Now, anyone who knows me knows I've got some fucking beef with the Nostalgia Critic. Not the person, necessarily, the character. I think that his rise to popularity did more damage than anything else to people's abilities to just enjoy a fucking movie. He made it cool and funny to just hate shit. And I know he did it comedically. He meant for it to just be all fun, you know, but it fucking caught on. People didn't get the joke. It took me like 6 or 7 videos to get the fact that there was a joke to get, you know. But this wasn't the Nostalgia Critic. This was just him. And one of the first things he said was, "This is a really good movie." I'm like, okay, I never hear him say that. Let's hear him out. And he talked about how, most people judge this movie. It's like, I thought it'd be kind of fun. And he goes into it. It's like, yeah, the first half is really kind of kiddie, and then it gets into a really deep story, etc. I'm like, okay, this is making me want to see it even more. Oh, by the way, likewise, at the last thing when I went to see Hellfest, I saw a trailer for Night School again, which is just, a little comedy movie. And it looked just entertaining enough that I'm like, yeah, I'll waste a freebie on this. So I'm thinking, okay, I've got time for a movie. I can see Night School or I can see Smallfoot. And I'm like, you know what? Smallfoot's in D-Box. I'm going to see Smallfoot. So I go down to the theater. And remember how I said sometimes there's no ticket taker, sometimes there's no ticket booth? It was concessions. Well, I get there on my bike and I'm already a minute late from the start time because the movie starts at like 3:45 and I'm there at 3:46 as I'm walking in the door. So I'm already, cutting into something because I don't remember how long the previews are or exactly what time they start. So I could be eating my buffer right now. So I get in the Premiere / A-list line, which is a special line. Now, I don't get in that line very often because I don't buy concessions, and generally when I get there and it's the concession stand tickets, there's nobody in line. But by the rules, whenever they're finished with the person they're dealing with, they have to take a Premiere person next until there's no more Premiere people. And I stood there in the line and watched this girl go through everybody in the fucking line. Like 6 people. And under normal circumstances, I wouldn't begrudge them that. Under normal circumstances, I might have gotten in the normal line. Just because I honestly feel like kind of a dick jumping to the Premiere line. Like, I'm special, but I had a fucking movie to catch. I got there late, So anyway... And I'm pretty sure she saw me because she walked past me like twice, getting orders for other people, like popcorn and shit. And I get there, and I'm trying not to be a dick, and I say, I thought the Premiere line was supposed to get priority here. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I guess I didn't see you. And then she had some issues reading my ticket, but that's the most pissed I've ever been. Just... And here's the thing. If it weren't advertised, I wouldn't have cared. I had no problem getting in the back of that line, especially since I effectively did. But when you pay the money and they say, hey, if you pay this money, we'll give you your own special line where you get priority treatment, and I choose to stand in that fucking line, give me the thing I paid for, So anyway, I got into my seat, sat down for Smallfoot, and it was a genuinely enjoyable movie. I'm so glad that I saw that second trailer and that I watched that review because I would not have fucking given this movie a second chance otherwise. I would not have even... It never would have entered my head to see this movie except maybe like in the last couple weeks it was in theaters. But it is an absolute treat to watch. It is fun. And I don't bring this up much, but I'm an atheist, and as an atheist, this movie kind of spoke to me because the whole thing of the movie kind of dealt with religious dogma and going against it. So that kind of spoke to me on a level. Now, you don't have to be an atheist to enjoy that, and I don't think, oh, they put an atheist message in this movie. They could have, but I'm not going to say that, because I'm not going to be that arrogant to say, oh, this is this kind of movie. But if you're that kind of person, it's there for you. If you're not, it's still a good movie. And if you have the money, or if you have some kind of thing that allows you to do this for free, see it in D-Box, because, oh boy, this is an active movie. That chair is going to be all over the place. I've seen a couple movies in D-Box. I saw Hellfest. I saw The Meg. I saw House of the Clock and Its Walls. I saw The Predator. And I think I've seen one other thing. I don't remember what. But I've seen a whole bunch of movies in D-Box, and none of them were as active as Smallfoot was. I'm actually in the process of looking through my schedule to see it in 3D, either well, not tomorrow, but either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm trying to look up the logistics of that shit. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing this in 3D, because my theater doesn't really do 3D, but they're doing Smallfoot in 3D. And to be perfectly honest, I could very well see myself for the entire runtime of this dedicating one of my tickets to seeing this movie again. It is a lot of fun. And I'm probably going to see it in D-Box for as long as it's available, or in other special things as long as it's available. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I almost didn't see this movie, and I feel so shitty because I almost didn't see this movie. And it's really making me reconsider a lot of other things. Because they have this new Grinch movie out, and I looked at it, and again, just like a Smallfoot, it's like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this at all. It's kind of dumb. And again, the last time I saw the trailer, it was a slightly different trailer. I'm thinking, I've got these freebies. And after seeing Smallfoot, I'm like, I think this could be a thing. This AMC A-list is the best fucking thing that ever happened to me as a movie watcher. Because it is making me watch shit that I would never fucking watch. I could literally have gone 6 years without seeing Hellfest. I might never have watched Smallfoot. I sure as hell wouldn't have rented Bohemian Rhapsody. But I'm gonna see them. I'm gonna see those movies. It's just so much shit that I'm going to see now because of this A-list. I found out recently there's a new Pokemon movie coming out in theaters soon. And I thought to myself, oh my god, I'm gonna see that. It just clicked with me today, well, yesterday. The new Dragon Ball Super Broly movie is coming out in theaters. And I can fucking see it. I never would have allocated the money for that. I'd have probably fucking pirated it like I always do. Don't pirate, kids. But I'm gonna go fucking see this movie. And if those of you watching this, which is none of you, but those of you watching this, if your local theater has some kind of program like AMC's A-List, spend the money. Because A, you will have no shortage of movies to watch. And B, you will see shit you never would have spent money on. And maybe you'll sit through a lot of crappy movies, but you're going to find a couple hidden gems. You're going to find movies that you're thinking, wow, I'm glad I watched that. Alpha was one of those movies for me. Smallfoot was one of those fucking movies for me. I can't say that for the Meg or Happy Time, because I was going to see those anyway. I might say that for the House of the Clock and Its Walls, because I don't know, because I had A-List at the time. I don't really remember if I was going to spend money on that when I first saw those previews. But I did want to see it. And that's a beautiful thing. If you want to see it, fucking see it. Just live it up. And yeah, I really should have fired up the fucking PlayStation. Because I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I'm going to spend 15, 20 minutes on this. I've probably gone an hour. Which actually brings me to something else. There is a very real chance that either sometime mid-October or just in November, Anubis will be moving in with us. Because apparently, I found this out from my roommate, of all people. That one of our mutual friends, the HeroClix judge, had told him at a memorial service, I imagine, because they really haven't spoken much beyond that he had to go to, that Anubis was going through some issues. Now, I haven't confirmed this with him, he just told me shit happened, but what I heard is, the bills have been slipping, he hasn't had internet in a while, he hasn't had, really, power in the house, which I can't fucking imagine how bad that could be. And that his uncle moved in, and his uncle's been treating him like shit, and he just wants out of there, and he's thinking of moving in here. And I've had a couple talks with him, and he seems interested. We haven't hammered out any specifics of it yet. Like, for all I know, he'll be in there, like, October 3rd. Maybe... or maybe, like, the 10th or something. I don't know. He could be in there in October, and I just haven't been told, But that's a thing that could happen. Which could... I don't necessarily think I'll have him on commentary in the Let's Plays. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not going to pressure him into it. And it didn't really seem as much his thing, and that's fine. It's not for everyone, but I mean, if nothing else, maybe I can get him to finish Resident Evil 5 with me. That's been on hiatus for, 4 goddamn years now? But, that could be a thing. Maybe he'll just jump in general and we'll do Let's Plays as a thing together. That would be cool. He will likely still be playing HeroClix, and moving in with me would be awesome for him because I still have a lot of shit for Clix. And granted, my stuff is probably literally 5 sets out of date now. God, I wish that was an exaggeration, but the fact that that's not an exaggeration is one of the reasons I left Clix in the first goddamn place. But a lot of my shit's still really powerful, so he could borrow some of my stuff if he needs it. Also, if he decides for whatever reason he's fed up with HeroClix like I was, or just fed up with the Judge, he could come play Pokemon with me. And he'll be saving some money, I assume, so he can afford A-list like me. And he could go and fucking watch movies with me, or see his own goddamn movies. I don't give a shit. Just be kind of fun to have someone to hang out with. Play Pokemon with recreationally, play video games with. Other shit. It's cool stuff. More importantly, it'd be fun to... I've been wondering for months now, even if I did get a job and get the money to go to Disney for a couple days, who would feed the pets? I could have him feed the pets. Which brings me to one last order of business. I am looking into, heavily scheming, to get to Adventure Island, which is a theme park in in Tampa. It is apparently a water park. Now, if you asked me, what theme park I'd like to go to, Adventure Island's pretty low on the list. I've never been. I've never really wanted to go more than, mild curiosity. It's never been a goal of mine. But it is right now. And part of the reason is because I just want to go to a water park. I've had I'm not even making this up, literal dreams of going to water parks. Because I'll have several scenarios happen in a dream. And one that's pretty common is a water park of various sorts. And I know this water park will not live up to my dreams because my dreams are goddamn weird. Dreams where it's like literally like a fucking Disney World size thing of islands that you monorail to and you can swim around on. Areas that for some reason I always get an aerial view of just like 10 pools of huge blue water and water slides connecting them and all this shit. But like I've told a couple people, all I want to do is I just want to fucking go and play in the water. That's really it. I don't need rides. I don't need slides. Just give me some interesting looking swimming pools to play in, and I'll fucking go for 10 goddamn hours and just splash in the pool. I'll come back burnt as hell and be happy. And the reason Adventure Island popped up is because, well, I just want to go to a theme park. I have this thing where if I don't go to a theme park every now and then, it just resets me. It's my reset button. I get to this point where I just stop enjoying shit the way I used to. And generally the theme park in question is Disney. I try to get to Disney once a year, and obviously that hasn't happened in 6 or 7 years. But I try to get to Disney World once a year to just recharge, and get my vigor back. And I'm hoping Adventure Island will do the same thing for me. But I was looking up water parks, and one of them was Adventure Island, and I'm looking up, I also looked up, like, Weeki Wachee Springs, and I'm looking at admissions. And I forget what it is, but I didn't like something about Weeki Wachee Springs. Maybe it was the distance, maybe it was the fact that the water's probably really cold. But I got to Adventure Island and I noticed until October 25th, $25 or 28th, $25 tickets. I'm thinking, damn, I can afford $25. And then I noticed something else, $10 off if you order online. I don't know if the two stack, but the idea that I can get into a water park for $15, oh, I'm sold. There's a problem. That's in Tampa. And at first I was really excited because I looked up a bus route. Because, I do that and I'm like, oh, here's an hour. Holy shit. Or an hour and a half. I could be to Adventure Island in an hour and a half and I could take my bus? No. What I do is I take my bus to a Greyhound station and take that there. And fuck, if I can't afford Disney, I sure as fuck can't afford a Greyhound ticket. I don't know how much they cost, but I'm willing to bet it's at least $30. Especially for a round trip. Now, the good news is, unlike Orlando, Tampa's relatively close. I mean, me and the guys used to make fucking weekly pilgrimages to Tampa for HeroClix. So I asked my aunt, and she can't take me for a couple reasons. I asked my best friend, and he doesn't like Adventure Island. He's been once, he's not interested. So I asked another friend's wife, and she's interested, but A, she's not sure her husband and her son want to go, and B, they're not sure what her husband's work schedule is. Her husband being my friend, obviously. But it's looking like there's a possibility I could go with them, and I'll have theme park time. And hopefully that'll reset my creative juices, and I'll be happy and perky and just me again. Plus, I will be clean as fuck. There is no clean like chlorine clean. Okay, I've said it a million times. You can sit in the tub, you can scrub for hours. It does not compare to jumping into a pool for 45 minutes and splashing. You will come out cleaner than you have ever goddamn been. And yeah, that's just kind of cool. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it becomes a thing. Because I think the tickets are normally $50, and if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'm going to Disney World. I just am. Still waiting to hear from vocational rehab. Heard nothing yet. Haven't missed any calls. I've looked. Thinking about getting a house phone. I gotta ask the roommate to call the cable company about that. And then think about getting a house phone because his phone's always on silent. My phone doesn't fucking work indoors for some reason. And it's only here, really. It works fine outside the house. I think it's something having to do with the house. Hell, it might even be the new roof they put up. Come to think of it, I think that's when the problem started. But I'm gonna cut this off or I'll be here all goddamn night. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.